What's up, friends? Tonight's victim in the garage, an 8 horsepower yard machine by MTD Digitaleader, picked up just this very morning for $40 from a man who swears she ran in the spring when parked, pulled her out this fall, tried to get her to chooch to life. No luck, amigo. So he sent her on down the road for parts. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. We're going to get this thing running. It does need a little more work than the one I did last week on this channel or 2 weeks ago on D.O.A in the garage. That's okay. What you got here is a function of salt. This one came from a more suburban setting, so the guy was probably plowing down by the road where there was salt mixed in. So the shell, the auger shell, is all peeling, but that's not, it doesn't really matter as long as it's solid down here. Oh well, look at that. It's barely got any guards left. What did he just wear right through them? Yeah, he wore through the one on the other side. That's all right. Parts bin, we can figure out something. Additionally, it's got an axle issue, which we'll probably tackle in a later video. You can see the play there, right? But tonight, let's just focus on the motor. I'm gonna see if we can't get her to bark to life. Let's do the particulars. The usual rundown. We'll start with the fire water. Give her the old sniff test. Whoo, buddy, that's a bit ripe. Not as bad as that last one, but it's a bit ripe. Let's check out the liquid dinosaurs. Oh, 2 for 2 on the liquid dinosaurs. That's, I mean, listen, obviously that oil needs to be changed, but you remember the, was it the first snowblower or was that lawnmower we did? Whatever, the fuel came, the oil came out in chunks. So, the fact that this isn't 19-year-old oil is a plus. Let's see what kind of shape our Sparky boy's in. That can tell us quite a bit about an engine. This one looks like a newer plug, at least than the last one. Oh, this unit's been spray painted. He must have done that last year because the spray paint doesn't look too bad. The rattle can, of course, he didn't bother to pull the rust off. Why would you? And I don't know if you guys can see that plug because the screen's on the other side, but it's not wet with oil, just a little bit sooty. Even looks relatively new. I'm going to venture to guess this machine was relatively well cared for. He just forgot the stable in the fuel tank. Amateur hour, I tell you. It's okay. If people didn't forget the stable, Eric and I would be out of business. So we're just gonna, actually I should have cleaned that off. We'll get to it later. Let's get this cover pulled off and see what our carburetor looks like. All right, here's a fun little tip for some stubborn Phillips heads. You get a screwdriver with a square shaft. I think y'all see where this is going. Take your Nebraska nut rounder and get you some leverage. Oh, there we go. And let's see, will she work up here? Can we go 2 for 2? I should really just get a, well, a bigger screwdriver. What I was going to say is a socket. Let's see if we can make this work. Nope, that's pretty well rounded. Well, 1 for 2 is not bad. 50%. That's still passing, right? All right, now this particular snarl blower is equipped with one of those General Sherman Tecumseh tanks. I believe this one's an 8 horsepower. Yeah, 8 horsepower. I've never met a Tecumseh I couldn't be friends with, so this is gonna be just fine. We'll get her running. This is one of the newer style, non-adjustable, much less friendly carbs. That's okay. Not much less friendly, just I really like being able to adjust the other ones. That other Toro we did, I'm probably gonna try to do a video on it before we sell it of how to adjust one of those old ones, but it's just a honey, man. When you can get one of those singing just right, because you have the ability, because they gave you the, you get it. They gave you the option. If you don't know what I'm talking about, older Tecumseh carburetors had high-speed and low-speed adjustment screws. Now they don't. The carbs are permanently set from the factory. Right here is where the low-speed circuit would have been tuned for. Now there's just a jet there that's permanently, you get it. And we're free. That is bone dry. Look, even some kind of corrosion schmutz down there on the butterfly valve. And what in the world does that? The gasket's just completely melted. It looks like melted blue crayon. Let's get this over to the bench and figure out what the hell's going on with this. Customer comes in. Hey, did you figure out what was wrong with my snarl blower? Yeah, seems like you had a bunch of melted blue crayons in the intake. Oh, is that where I left them? This is weird. I've never actually seen this. Let me see. Is the other half of the gasket on the machine? No, there's just more blue gunk on the machine. It almost looks like the gasket friggin' melted. So that's new one for me. And I definitely don't have that gasket in stock, so RTV it is. I think I won't. You know I will. Alright, I've dragged you along on enough carb videos, so I'm only going to bring you in for the really important stuff. And at some point I'll do an in-depth how-to on these Tecumseh carbs. I keep half-assing it. Huh. That's really not so bad. Like at all. The float moves just fine. I wonder if it was just that he had a massive vacuum leak because this was not sealed. This gasket's even looking fine. Like, I'm obviously going to blow that out because we're here, but I mean, it's fine. I don't know how well, you probably can't see very well in there, but like there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah, you see that perfect spray pattern? Can you see? Let's see. Perfectly squirting out each side, right onto my sweatshirt. Amateur hour. The thing that's a little odd to me is that this has got no gasoline in it at all, but the guy allegedly tried to get it started this year. I wonder if maybe he didn't tell us the whole story. Pull out this pilot jet. Take a little look-see at that. Of course, that looks fine. Like, real fine. Put our bowl back on. Like, literally, I don't see any reason. I think it just had a massive vacuum leak, so no matter how much he choked it, it was still lean. I'll bet you that was the issue. Carb not rebuilt, but let's go see if we have spark, and then we'll slam a gasket on there and see if she won't bark to life. Who buddy buck, I'll tell you what, I just did a bunch of stuff and looked over and realized the camera was not even turned on. Amateur hour, I tell you, Jiminy Christmas. I'm gonna test to see if she has spark. I electrocuted myself, so I know it has spark, but I'll do it again for you fine folks. See if you can't catch it. Pay attention to the space between the bolt and the screwdriver. There it is. We got good strong spark. That wasn't the issue. Then we went to the other side and we cranked the petcock open to make sure that fuel was actually flowing when it's open, and it does fine. Additionally, we did another sniff test, and it's not the worst gas. It's not all yellow. It's still clear, so we're probably going to try to run it on that. Might give it a snort of the good stuff down the throat hole. Haven't decided yet. Let's get the carburetor put back on, and then we'll reassess the need for Cosby in a can. Alrighty folks, shiny new gasket, just so you know I wasn't lying. Wouldn't do that to you fine folks. Gonna put this guy on. Interesting, wow, the crayons are even all over the screws. What in the fork happened to this thing? Point of interest is that we just had spark even though the key was not in. So clearly the safety system on this unit is, well, it's not really functioning as it should, no problem. That fuel line's pretty rough. I should probably replace it, but we're already putting a new gasket on. I'm only one man. I mean, how much do they want me to do? If it leaks real bad, I also have new fuel line. This blue crayon crap is everywhere. What in the world happened to this freaking snar blower? Help me understand. To steal a phrase from Derek, I understand his frustration now. Help me understand. Someone's going to have the answer, and it's going to be something so simple, and I'm going to feel kind of dumb, but I'm not going to lie to you fine folks. That happens to me pretty often anyway. Another fun fact is that even though it's been a week, I still haven't fixed my outside lights, so we're going to have to go test this in the dark. I tell you, you get nothing but the finest production quality. My microphone broke about 3 months ago. I said, screw it. Sound quality be darned. Which, so if you've noticed, there's been a degradation in the sound quality on D&E videos. It's just laziness. I'll buy a new mic at some point, or I won't. I mean, the information's the same, right? So there's a little more static. Okay, we've got fuel going to the carb. Let's just get her outside. I don't know, let's see what happens. All right, friends, wish me luck. Choke is choked. Throttle up. say it every time, man. I get 100 of these things running. I'm still amused every time. That was first pull. I didn't like warm it up or anything. Let's go inside. It's colder than an Inuit's outhouse out here. We'll talk about the real reason this guy got rid of this thing. All right, friends, here's the long and the short of it I'm going to tell you. I suspect maybe Eric and I were lied to, but it's not a problem. It did have a gaping vacuum leak here, which, I don't know, potentially could have kept it from starting, but it started so strong. I mean, it started first pull, it kicked, right? Like, I don't know, I don't feel like that was likely the thing. What I did notice, you may have noticed in the footage, I wanted to see if the drive gear works. Put it in first, it took off like a bat out of hell. I put it in reverse, it took off like a bat out of hell. So it's stuck in a gear. It feels like it's either 5 or 6. Additionally, the auger stays on all the time. So it's got some belt issues and transmission issue. Most of the time, that's actually not a hard fix. The being stuck in one gear. So we'll address that. It needs an adjustment. That's going to be a separate video on how to fix a snarl blower, a digideleter, that is stuck in one gear and the auger's running all the time. As long as it doesn't have one of those crappy plastic transmissions that they put in Craftsman, I don't think it's going to. Either way, at the end of the day, Eric and I paid 40 American dollar hairs for a strong running Tecumseh 8 horsepower. And I mean, that's fair enough. So definitely not a loss, though. I'm pretty sure we can get this thing up and running. Will be another video. Something else I want to tease real quick before we end it out. A lot of you, if you follow me on Instagram, we're very familiar with this 6 horsepower Tecumseh that you now see in about 1 million pieces all over the place. I have started the vertical shaft to horizontal shaft conversion video. I ran into a wall where I had to order something, and it's going to take a little while, but that video is coming. I shot how I got up to this point, so I know a lot of you were very excited to see how we're going to turn a 6 horsepower lawnmower engine into a horizontal shaft for a go-kart and then build the dang go-kart around it. Pretty weird carb on this particular one. Anyway, I digress. That's another video. We will talk about that another day. If you got any questions on this video, by all means, leave a comment down there in the squawk boxes. Let me know if you got any words of encouragement on this machine, if you've handled a similar problem on a similar unit. I'm 99% sure I already know what the problem is. We'll get it fixed over the weekend. Another video to come. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you fine folks next time.